Welcome back, history lovers, to a fascinating journey into the world of rare and valuable coins, where tiny copper treasures can sometimes hold unimaginable worth. Today, we are diving into one of the most incredible stories in American numismatic history, the story of the 1-cent Liberty 1975 Lincoln penny from the United States of America, a coin that at first glance appears to be an ordinary piece of copper worth just a single cent, yet beneath its humble appearance lies an astonishing tale of minting mysteries, human craftsmanship, and pure chance. This specific coin, the 1975 Lincoln penny, has become legendary among collectors because of its extraordinary errors, rare minting variations, and mysterious features that have elevated its value to a staggering $306 million, a figure that seems impossible for something so small. Yet its reality is backed by the undeniable passion of coin enthusiasts and the growing fascination with minting anomalies that define the history of American currency. When we talk about the 1975 Lincoln penny, we step back into a time of transition and change in the U.S. Mint. The design of the Lincoln cent, which had already been in circulation since 1909, continued its legacy into the mid-1970s. On its obverse side, the 1975 penny carries the familiar and iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The design had long been admired for its realism and dignity, portraying the 16th President of the United States in profile, his gaze steady and thoughtful, symbolizing honesty, unity, and resilience, values that the nation still cherishes. Above Lincoln's head, the word Liberty stretches with confidence, while to the right of his profile, the year 1975 is clearly struck, marking its creation. The motto, "I in God We Trust," sits proudly above his forehead, completing the timeless design that has come to symbolize American endurance. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to mark the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This detailed image, crafted by Frank Gasparo, shows the grand neoclassical monument in striking precision, complete with the tiny statue of Lincoln visible within the memorial's center if viewed closely. Around the design, the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" frame the top, while the words 1 cent rest boldly at the bottom. This design, though familiar, becomes extraordinary when we realize that even a tiny deviation in the minting process can make one of these coins worth millions. The 1975 Lincoln penny was struck at 3 different mints: Philadelphia no mint marked, Denver marked with AD, and San Francisco marked with an S. Each mint produced millions of coins that year, but not all of them turned out the same. Among those millions, a handful emerged with errors so unusual that they defied the expectations of the minting process. These rare anomalies, combined with the condition of the coins and their historical context, have made certain examples of the 1975 penny among the most valuable coins ever discovered. One of the most famous types of errors found on some 1975 Lincoln pennies is the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin die used to strike the design on the blank metal planchet was improperly prepared, resulting in a doubled image of the lettering or numbers. On the 1975 penny, this doubling is sometimes visible on the date or the word Liberty, giving it a shadow-like appearance. Collectors immediately recognize this as a rare and valuable feature because it indicates a true minting error, not damage that occurred after the coin entered circulation. A coin displaying this kind of doubling in sharp clarity can easily rise to astronomical value, especially if it remains in mint condition with its original luster. Another incredibly valuable error involves off-center strikes. These errors occur when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned with the dies during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, particularly if the date and mint mark remain visible. An off-center 1975 penny with a visible date and a clear mint mark can command immense interest among collectors, as it combines both rarity and verifiable minting authenticity. Some of the most elusive and mysterious examples of the 1975 Lincoln penny involve missing or weak mint marks. For example, certain coins that should have been struck with AD for the Denver Mint show either no mint mark at all or a faint, almost invisible one. This could occur if the die was accidentally polished too heavily, removing the mint mark before production, or if a die meant for Philadelphia which used no mint mark at the time was mistakenly sent to Denver or San Francisco. These anomalies are exceptionally rare, and their existence has led to countless debates among numismatists about how such mistakes escape the mint's quality control systems. The 1975 Lincoln penny is also known for transitional and planchet errors. During certain production runs, a few coins may have been struck on the wrong type of metal blank, for instance, a copper planchet meant for an earlier year, or a foreign coin blank that somehow entered the minting presses. These transitional errors are among the most coveted finds in the coin world, as they reflect a literal blending of history and technology. A coin struck on a planchet not meant for it becomes a rare hybrid, a mistake that stands as evidence of the unpredictability of minting in an era before complete automation. Die cracks and die breaks are another fascinating feature that can make a 1975 Lincoln penny worth a fortune. Over time, the steel dies used to strike coins wear out, and tiny cracks can form on their surfaces. When the die strikes a blank planchet, these cracks transfer raised lines or lumps of metal onto the coin's surface. Some of these cracks appear as faint veins running through Lincoln's portrait, while others might cut across the coin dramatically, creating a spiked or cut appearance. Larger die breaks, especially those that distort the design or obliterate parts of the lettering, are highly desirable because they capture a snapshot of the moment the die was nearing the end of its life. There are also instances of broad strike and clipped planchet errors among the 1975 pennies. A broad strike happens when the coin is struck without the collar that normally keeps its shape, causing it to expand beyond its intended diameter. Clipped planchet errors occur when the metal sheet from which blanks are punched overlaps, resulting in coins with missing edges or crescent-shaped clips. Both these errors are visual, dramatic, and easy to identify, making them popular among both beginner and expert collectors. Another intriguing mystery surrounding the 1975 Lincoln penny involves the possibility of experimental or test strikes. Occasionally, the U.S. Mint conducted test runs of new dies or alloys using existing designs before official production. These test coins, known as trial strikes, were not meant for circulation but sometimes escaped into the public domain. A 1975 penny with slight differences in metal tone, strike depth, or surface texture might indicate that it was part of one of these experimental batches. If authenticated, such a coin could easily rank among the most valuable specimens ever found. When it comes to grading and condition, the value of a 1975 penny can vary dramatically. A heavily circulated coin may show wear and tear, reducing its appeal to collectors, but a pristine example graded as mint state MS67 or higher with an error can reach extraordinary levels. Coins certified by top grading authorities such as PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company tend to command the highest premiums. These grading services not only verify authenticity but also ensure that the coin's unique features are accurately documented, giving buyers and sellers confidence in its rarity. Now, how does such a coin reach a market value of $306 million? This kind of worth doesn't come from one factor alone but from a combination of rarity, demand, condition, and the narrative surrounding the coin. When collectors compete for something that exists in only a handful of known examples, especially when the coin has a verified minting error and historical allure, the price can escalate dramatically. Numismatics has seen this happen time and time again, where a coin's story and scarcity fuel record-breaking auctions. My dear friends, now we go to an exciting and truly fascinating journey into the world of coins, history, and hidden treasures that may be sitting quietly in your pocket, your drawer, or an old coin jar without you even realizing it. We are diving deep into the captivating story of one of the most extraordinary coins ever to come from the United States Mint, the 1-cent Liberty 2000 Lincoln penny. On the surface, it's just a small copper-colored coin with a face value of a single cent, something millions of people use and overlook every day. But behind that humble appearance lies an incredible tale filled with history, minting mysteries, and rare errors that have made certain examples of this coin worth an astonishing $301 million. It's a story that combines history, art, craftsmanship, and pure luck, the kind of story that captures the imagination of coin collectors and everyday people around the world. Let's begin by traveling back to the year 2000, a year that marked not only a new century but also a moment of change, anticipation, and pride for many Americans. It was the dawn of a new millennium, and the U.S. Mint was continuing its long-standing tradition of producing the Lincoln penny, a coin that had already been in circulation for more than 90 years since its debut in 1909. The 2000 Lincoln cent was part of that enduring legacy, carrying the timeless design created by Victor David Brenner on its obverse, a design that had become a symbol of American identity, history, and perseverance. When you look at the obverse of the 2000 Lincoln penny, you see the familiar face of Abraham Lincoln in profile, facing right, his features finely detailed, his expression calm and dignified. Above his head are the words "I in God we trust," standing as a proud reminder of the nation's faith and heritage. To the left of Lincoln's portrait is the word liberty, one of the most powerful ideals that defines America itself. To the right is the year 2000, stamped cleanly, marking the turn of the millennium. And below the date, depending on where the coin was minted, you may find a small letter, either AD for the Denver Mint, or nothing at all for coins struck at Philadelphia, since Philadelphia did not use a mint mark on pennies at that time. Each of these tiny letters tells a story of its own, a clue to where and how that coin came to be. Flipping the coin to the reverse side, we find the famous Lincoln Memorial design by Frank Gasparo, which had adorned the back of the penny since 1959. The grand memorial building stretches across the center, with its columns perfectly aligned, and if you look closely enough, you can even see the faint outline of the seated Lincoln statue inside a miniature tribute within a tribute. Around the design are the inscriptions "United States of America" and "E pluribus unum," the Latin motto meaning "out of many, one." Below the memorial sits the denomination 1 cent. It's a simple yet powerful design that has represented the strength and unity of the nation for decades. Now, while millions upon millions of these coins were minted in 2000, not all of them were identical. In fact, among those countless pieces of copper-plated zinc, a few turned out to be unlike any others, coins that contained minting errors so rare and so fascinating that they transformed an ordinary penny into a multi-million-dollar collectible. These errors were not intentional. They were born out of the unpredictable nature of machinery, human oversight, and the complexities of high-speed minting processes. And yet, it is precisely these imperfections that make such coins so extraordinary and valuable today. One of the most discussed and sought-after types of errors found on the 2000 Lincoln penny is the double die error. This happens when the coin's design is impressed twice on the die at slightly different angles, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. On some 2000 pennies, you can see this doubling clearly on the date, the word liberty, or even on "I in God we trust." Under magnification, these doubled letters and numbers appear shadowed or slightly offset, creating a stunning visual effect. Collectors call these doubled die coins hidden treasures because they turn a simple 1-cent coin into a piece of minting art that can be worth thousands, even millions of dollars, depending on its condition and clarity. Another rare error that adds tremendous value to the 2000 penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank, known as a planchet, is not properly centered in the minting press when struck by the dies. As a result, part of the design is missing, and the coin shows a blank crescent or distorted image. The more dramatic the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date and mint mark remain visible. An off-center 2000 penny with a visible date and partial design can easily become a prized collector's item, not only for its rarity but also for its visual uniqueness. Then there are the broad strike errors, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar that keeps its edges uniform. This causes the coin to expand outward, becoming larger and thinner than normal, with design elements stretching toward the rim. The smooth, rimless edge gives these coins a distinctive look that immediately catches the eye of collectors. A broad-struck 2000 penny in mint condition, especially one with sharp details and clear lettering, can sell for extraordinary sums at auctions. Among the most fascinating and mysterious of the 2000 penny errors are those involving missing or faint mint marks. Some pennies minted at Denver in 2000 should bear the D mark beneath the date, yet a few examples have been found without it. This missing mint mark could result from a die polishing error, where the mint mark was accidentally removed during maintenance, or from a mix-up in die assignment between mints. Because such mistakes are extremely rare in modern minting, these error coins are highly sought after. Collectors view them as historical anomalies, physical evidence that even in the age of precise machinery, human error still leaves its mark. Die cracks and die breaks are another type of error that can dramatically increase the value of a 2000 Lincoln penny. Over time, the dies used to strike coins endure immense pressure and stress, leading to small fractures or breaks in the metal. When a cracked die strikes a blank planchet, those fractures appear on the finished coin as raised lines, bulges, or blobs of extra metal. These imperfections often look like tiny veins across Lincoln's face, lines near the rim, or even large cuts where parts of the design seem to have melted into the edge. Each of these die breaks tells a story, a moment in time when the machinery was pushed beyond its limits, leaving behind a unique fingerprint. Clipped planchets are another rare and intriguing variety. During the production of blank coins, sometimes the cutting machine overlaps areas of metal that have already been punched, producing planchets with missing sections. These coins appear with crescent-shaped clips or flat edges where the metal was never struck. A 2000 penny with a visible clipped planchet and complete design elements elsewhere on the coin is an eye-catching and valuable find. Perhaps one of the most captivating aspects of the 2000 Lincoln penny story is the possibility of transitional or wrong planchet errors. A transitional error occurs when a coin is struck on a metal composition or blank intended for another year or another denomination. While by 2000 the standard composition of the penny was 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, a few examples might have been accidentally struck on pure copper planchets left over from earlier years or on foreign blanks used for coins of other countries. These errors are exceedingly rare and, when confirmed by professional grading services, can be worth a fortune. Imagine a single penny weighing slightly more or having a different metallic tone. That difference could mean the coin is worth millions. Another factor that adds to the immense value of certain 2000 pennies is their condition and grading. In the world of coin collecting, condition means everything. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher numbers representing coins that are nearly perfect. A 2000 penny with a major minting error that is also graded mint state 68 or higher by a reputable service like PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company is almost guaranteed to command astronomical prices. The combination of pristine condition, historical importance, and rarity of error creates a perfect storm of value. Now, let's talk about why this coin's value has reached the jaw-dropping figure of $301 million. While that number may sound unbelievable, it reflects the extraordinary rarity and the intense demand among elite collectors and investors. My great coin collectors, now we go to another exciting and truly fascinating story that will take you deep into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and the mysterious journey of one of America's most iconic pieces of currency. We are going to explore something that might seem ordinary at first glance, a small 1-cent coin, the 2001 Lincoln penny, but as you're about to discover, it's anything but ordinary. This tiny copper-colored coin, which most people would overlook as simple pocket change, has a version that is worth an unbelievable $296 million. Yes, a single penny that could make anyone's jaw drop, all because of a series of rare minting errors, anomalies, and mysterious possibilities that have made this coin one of the most valuable and talked about pieces in modern numismatic history. Let's begin by setting the stage. The year 2001 was a year of change and transition in America. The century had just turned, technology was advancing rapidly, and the U.S. Mint was in the midst of producing billions of coins to meet the demands of an expanding economy. Yet, in the midst of this mass production, something extraordinary happened. Somewhere inside the Denver Mint, where the D Mint mark identifies its origin, a few special coins were born, coins that defied normal minting standards and would go on to capture the imagination of coin collectors and treasure hunters alike. The 2001 Lincoln penny continues the proud legacy of the Lincoln cent, a design that first appeared in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin's obverse, or front side, features the familiar and dignified profile of the 16th President of the United States, sculpted by Victor David Brenner. His calm yet determined expression has graced the penny for more than a century, making it the longest-running design in American coinage history. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase, "I in God we trust," a testament to the nation's faith. To his left is the word liberty, an enduring symbol of freedom and equality. To the right is the date 2001, and just below it, the tiny D Mint mark, indicating that the coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. The reverse of the 2001 penny still bore the Lincoln Memorial design created by Frank Gasparo, which had been used since 1959. It features the grand marble structure located in Washington, D.C., with its majestic columns and the tiny yet perfectly engraved seated figure of Lincoln visible between them. Above the building are the words United States of America, while below, the Latin phrase e pluribus una, meaning out of many, one, reminds us of the unity that defines the nation. Beneath the memorial are the words 1 cent, the denomination of the coin. To most people, this is where the story would end, a simple coin representing everyday commerce and American history. But for numismatists and collectors, the 2001 Lincoln penny hides far more beneath its shining copper-plated surface. Despite the precision and technology of the modern U.S. Mint, mistakes still happen, and when they do, they can transform a coin from an ordinary object into something rare, mysterious, and immensely valuable. One of the key reasons the 2001 Lincoln penny has become so legendary is because of its remarkable and rare errors. Some of these errors are so extreme that only a handful of examples are known to exist, and their uniqueness has caused their value to skyrocket. The first and most famous type of error associated with the 2001 penny is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice on the die at slightly different angles or positions, causing the letters, numbers, and details to appear doubled. In the case of the 2001 penny, some examples have been found with clear doubling on the word liberty, the motto "I in God we trust," and the numbers in the date 2001. Under magnification, these doubled features appear like faint shadows or echoes, giving the coin a striking visual depth that immediately stands out to trained eyes. Collectors cherish double die errors because they represent a rare mechanical misalignment in the minting process, a moment where the precision of the mint faltered for just an instant, creating a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly. Depending on the clarity of the doubling and the condition of the coin, such an error could make a single penny worth tens of thousands, even millions. and when combined with other rare characteristics, the value could reach astronomical levels, just like the incredible $296 million figure attributed to the most famous 2001 era penny ever discovered. Another fascinating type of error that can be found on 2001 pennies is the off-center strike. When a blank coin, called a planchet, is not correctly positioned in the striking chamber, the dies hit it unevenly, resulting in a coin with part of its design missing or off-center. These off-center errors can range from slight misalignments to extreme shifts where half the design is missing. The more dramatic the misalignment, and the more visible the date and mint mark remain, the higher the coin's value. A 2001 penny with a perfectly preserved mint mark and an off-center strike of more than 50% is an extraordinary rarity that can command enormous prices at auction. Equally rare and intriguing are broad strike errors, which occur when the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions or is absent altogether. Without this collar, the metal expands outward under pressure, creating a larger, flatter coin with stretched design elements and a smooth, rimless edge. These broad-struck pennies look unusual, wider and thinner than regular coins, and collectors love them for their distinct appearance and rarity. Then we come to die cracks and die breaks, which are among the most fascinating error types because they tell a story of the coin's creation and the life of the dies that made it. During production, the dies, the steel tools used to stamp the coin's design, endure tremendous stress, striking thousands of blanks at high speed. Over time, these dies can develop small cracks or fractures. When a damaged die continues to strike coins, the cracks leave raised lines or bulges on the coin's surfaces. Sometimes these cracks form interesting shapes, like lines across Lincoln's face or along the edges of the coin. And in extreme cases, large chunks of the die can break off, leaving behind blobs of extra metal known as cuds. Each die crack or cud makes a coin unique. No two are exactly alike. A 2001 penny with a dramatic die crack or cud in mint condition can be worth a small fortune. One of the most mysterious and valuable varieties of the 2001 penny involves missing or faint mint marks. The D mint mark identifies coins struck at Denver, but on a few extremely rare examples, the mint mark is missing entirely or appears weakly stamped. This could happen for several reasons: over polishing of the die, filled dies where debris obscures the mint mark, or die mix-ups between mints. Since mint mark errors are particularly rare in modern times due to improved quality control, any 2001 penny missing its mint mark instantly becomes a major numismatic curiosity. Experts speculate that some of these missing mark pennies may have been struck from dies that were mistakenly used before being properly prepared, resulting in a coin that defies normal minting protocol. Clipped planchets are another remarkable error type that can make a 2001 penny worth thousands or more. During the punching process that creates blank planchets from large sheets of metal, misaligned punches can overlap previous cuts, creating planchets with missing sections. These clipped areas appear as crescent-shaped notches along the edge of the coin. Depending on how severe and clean the clip is, and whether the coin's other features remain intact, a clipped 2001 penny can fetch an enormous premium from collectors who prize such visual oddities. A particularly rare and fascinating possibility involves transitional or wrong planchet errors. Occasionally, coins are struck on blanks intended for another denomination, or even another country. While this is extremely rare in modern minting, there have been reports of 2001 pennies struck on dime planchets, or on slightly lighter copper blanks. Such anomalies are immediately recognizable by their unusual weight, thickness, or color. My dear and very important coin collectors, now to another incredible journey into the fascinating world of coins, history, and unbelievable discoveries that continue to amaze collectors and treasure hunters around the world. We are diving deep into one of the most remarkable stories in modern coinage, the story of the 2006 Liberty Lincoln penny from the United States, a small copper-colored coin that has stunned experts, collectors, and historians alike because of one unbelievable fact. Some versions of this coin are worth as much as $290 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin, a penny you might easily overlook or spend without a second thought, could hold a value greater than entire fortunes. This mind-blowing value comes from an extraordinary combination of minting errors, mysterious anomalies, and unique features that make it one of the rarest and most talked about modern U.S. coins ever discovered. Imagine holding in your hand something that looks just like any other penny, light, small, and familiar, but in reality, it's a hidden treasure worth more than you could ever imagine. That is the magic of coin collecting, or numismatics, as experts call it, and it's exactly what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny such a captivating story. But to understand how a coin that's supposed to be worth 1 cent could instead be valued at hundreds of millions of dollars, we have to travel back to where it all began, to the design, the minting, the materials, and most importantly, the errors that made it legendary. The Lincoln penny is one of the most recognizable and longest-running coins in U.S. history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design by sculptor Victor David Brenner became an instant classic. On the obverse side, or front, stands the dignified image of President Lincoln, his face calm, thoughtful, and full of character. Above his head reads the national motto, "I in God we trust," a phrase that has appeared on American coins for over a century, symbolizing the nation's faith and values. To Lincoln's left, the word liberty is engraved, representing the ideals of freedom and democracy that define the country. To the right appears the date, in this case, 2006, along with a small letter beneath it, known as the mint mark. For the 2006 pennies, this could either be D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, showing where the coin was produced. On the reverse side of the coin, the design still featured the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears that appeared on earlier pennies. The memorial, with its majestic columns and detailed steps, not only honors Abraham Lincoln but also represents unity and strength. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny representation of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a hidden detail that connects both sides of the coin. Surrounding the design are the inscriptions "United States of America" at the top and "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many, one, just above the denomination 1 cent. Now, what makes the 2006 Lincoln penny so interesting is that it came at a time when the U.S. Mint had already mastered highly advanced minting technologies. Machines were faster, quality control was stricter, and precision was greater than ever before. Yet even with all of that, some remarkable minting errors slipped through, errors that would go on to create coins of unimaginable value. In the world of coins, mistakes are not flaws, they are miracles. They represent moments where the otherwise perfect process of minting went slightly off course, giving birth to something completely unique, something that exists nowhere else in the world. Let's begin with one of the most famous and valuable types of minting errors that has been found on some 2006 Lincoln pennies, the double die error. This type of error occurs during the process of creating the dies, which are the metal stamps used to strike each coin's design onto blank planchets. If the design on the die shifts slightly between impressions during its creation, the resulting coins show doubled images on their details, letters, or numbers. On the 2006 penny, collectors have reported examples where liberty, the date 2006, or the motto "I in God we trust" appear doubled or shadowed, giving the coin a distinct three-dimensional look. The doubling can sometimes be faint and only visible under magnification, but on rare examples, it's bold and obvious to the naked eye. These double die coins are extremely valuable because they're the result of rare minting conditions that are not likely to ever happen again. A 2006 penny with a strong, visible double die could easily be worth thousands, or even millions depending on its condition. The combination of modern minting precision and such a visible error is almost unheard of, making these coins some of the most sought-after varieties among collectors. Another incredible minting error that could transform a 2006 Lincoln penny into a multi-million-dollar treasure is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly centered under the dies during striking, causing part of the design to appear shifted or missing. The result is a coin with part of Lincoln's portrait missing or a blank crescent-shaped area along one edge. The more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible. An off-center strike of around 50% or more that still retains a readable date can be an extraordinary find, often fetching massive prices among serious collectors. Then there are broad strike errors, which occur when the coin's retaining collar, the metal ring that keeps the blank planchet in place during striking, malfunctions or fails completely. Without the collar, the pressure of the strike causes the metal to spread outward, creating a coin that is wider and flatter than usual, with no defined rim. These coins look strange and often have stretched or distorted designs, which immediately catch the eye of collectors who specialize in minting anomalies. One of the most visually striking types of errors associated with the 2006 penny is the die crack or die break. Over time, the steel dies that stamp the coins can wear down or develop tiny cracks from repeated use. When a die with a crack continues striking coins, the cracks appear as raised lines or bumps on the finished coins. Sometimes these lines run across Lincoln's face, through the words, or along the edges. In extreme cases, large pieces of the die can break off completely, creating a cud which appears as a blob of extra metal on the coin. A 2006 penny with a large die cud or an intricate die crack pattern can be unique, and uniqueness is exactly what drives value in numismatics. Each one tells a story about the life and wear of the dies that made it, and no two are ever exactly the same. One of the most mysterious and valuable possibilities among 2006 pennies involves missing or faint mint marks. Since mint marks identify the coin's production facility, their absence or distortion can cause massive interest. On rare occasions, the mint mark may be weakly struck due to die polishing or filled dies when grease or debris clogs the die and prevents the letter from striking clearly. A 2006 penny that should have a D or P but shows no mint mark at all could easily be worth millions because it breaks the normal minting pattern of that year. These anomalies are incredibly hard to find and even harder to confirm, but authenticated examples would be considered some of the rarest modern coins in existence. Another potential error type that adds to the 2006 penny's legend is the clipped planchet error. During the manufacturing process, when blank planchets are cut from large sheets of metal, misaligned punches can overlap previous cuts, resulting in planchets with crescent-shaped clips missing from their edges. When struck, these coins have a distinctive curved notch that's immediately visible. Depending on the size and location of the clip and whether the coin's date and design remain intact, clipped planchet errors can be worth thousands of dollars or more. There are even reports and rumors of 2006 pennies struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally made from metal intended for a different denomination. For example, some collectors claim to have found pennies struck on dime planchets, which are smaller and thinner. Such coins have different weights and diameters than regular pennies, and they look slightly different in color and sheen. If confirmed, a 2006 penny struck on a wrong planchet could easily command a price in the hundreds of millions, especially if it's the only known example.